What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here on this not so warm day. Looks a little bit warm out here. Well, I got the impression that it was a little bit warm out here. It actually is. I'm just in the shade right now, trying to take some dope shots. Behind me is a structure that doesn't look so safe, so we're gonna make this pretty quick. So today I'm gonna go over modifying your car, or modified cars. If you have modified your car already, or if you plan on modifying your car, you should definitely tune in and check out this video. Okay guys, so what I mean by modifying, there are a lot of different ways you can modify your vehicle. Essentially, modifying your vehicle is taking how it comes from factory and putting your own little touch on it, something that did not come from factory. Now you can do OEM modifications, which will, I don't know if those are modifications. It will be like port options, you know, like the MPPK or things like that, performance pack, or just like the lip that comes from the port. Now those are modifications, however, those are more of an OEM style modification. I'm not really talking about those per se, and I'm not talking about beauty mods, I would say. Something like your rear trunk lip, maybe even wrapping the car front lip or something like that. Now, wheels are subjective because they are form and function. However, that's for a whole other conversation. Right now we're just talking about the basis of modifying your car. The main modifications that I am talking about are your tunes, your intakes, downpipes, things like that. Basically performance mods that you would feel it more than you would see it. And I'm gonna kind of explain to you my thoughts and views on modifying your car. Visual mods more than likely do not really serve any performance gains or performance loss. You know, wings on your car actually really don't work up until a certain speed anyway, and in the city traffic they are pretty much useless. And when I say wings, I mean the trunk lip, I swear, is just for style. The front lip is just for style. Those super race car vehicles or the new Lamborghinis or whatever the case may be with all that active aero, that is functional. However, I'm not exactly sure at what speeds they become functional. The first thing I want to talk about with modifying your vehicle is, one, is it safe? Now, in all reality, technology has came a very long way, so it's very easy to modify your car. And I would recommend going with a trusted installer if you do plan on modifying your car or doing it yourself. The reason why I don't think doing it yourself is that far off, even if you're not fully experienced, is because you know what happens to your vehicle at all times. So if you know if you screw something up, it's in your brain. And when you pay somebody to do your mods and you don't necessarily trust them, they're not a trusted installer that you feel and are comfortable with, they may cut corners and skimp, and you really don't see that. So for instance, let's say I was installing upgraded brakes and I just took it to just any old guy, any old mechanic I don't know. He doesn't care about me. His interest is really money. Now he can do a botched job and rush it just to get me out of there, and I would never know until something happened. There are a lot of shops out there that will just take you in and push you out with little regards to your safety. Take note to that, and don't always just go straight to the cheapest guy. You know, look, reviews are a big thing these days. You have Google, Yelp, a whole bunch of things. Definitely check out some of those reviews. Now, short term versus long term, I'm going to point out the obvious first. Short term, you will definitely feel a difference. Long term won't come until, you know, long term. Now, short term reliability versus long term reliability, two totally different things. You really don't know how well your car will take those mods in the long term. Short term, they tend to hold up very well because everything, if you modify your car with lower mileage, everything is pretty much kind of sort of new and is ready to take a beating on. Now, higher mileage cars, they've been through a lot, they've seen a lot. Maybe some of your bushings, O-rings, hoses, clamps, wires, whatever the case may be, you know, they're on the brink of breaking, and just pushing it a little bit further will go ahead and, yeah, destroy your car. So with that being said, you know, go over everything. Once you start adding performance mods or tuning your vehicle, you add more stress on every single component. That includes the brakes. Because some people don't think that. A lot of issues in your car might not arise in the very beginning, more so if the install wasn't done correctly, or there are known issues with your vehicle, then it would typically show short term, i.e. the charge pipe on these M55 BMWs, they will go as soon as you modify this car. As soon as you throw a tune on it, that charge pipe will go. It can barely handle stock boost, and any more than that and you're literally pushing it. You're pushing it. It's literally a ticking time bomb. My charge pipe did not last a block. Actually, it lasted a half a block. Yep. As soon as I tune this car, half a block, charge pipe gone, car out of commission until I can get a aluminum replacement charge pipe. Those are some of the things you have to consider and look at when you are modifying your car. Just take a quick search online and, you know, go on forums and things like that and see exactly what issues people were having before and after they modified their cars. And you will find for certain vehicles like the M54 engine, I know they have either high pressure or low pressure fuel pump problems, especially when you're modifying your car. You know, these cars, like I said, the M55 is pretty stout with the charge pipe and other little things like that. Now, oil leaks is a whole different thing because I feel like every BMW leaks oil. We ain't even gonna discuss that. So yeah, so that's pretty much as far as long-term and short-term reliability goes. It's pretty much up to one, how you drive the car, two, I mean, who does the work. So it can vary, but I will say overall your car will be less reliable if you modify it. That's the gist of it. There's no going around that. It will be less reliable, hence why you void your warranty if you modify your car. And typically we tend to shoot for one thing more than the other. It's kind of like going to the gym, working on chest and arms, and skipping leg day. We might put a lot of power through these things and say, oh man, it makes so much power that it's spinning everywhere, but because you don't have wider tires on the car, you know, the car can't get better grip because you're overpowering the rear wheels, you know, simply because you don't have the proper setup in the rear, or, you know, brakes or whatever the case may be. But with that being said, like I said, it all comes in time, and, you know, like, we're all guilty of it. Now, some of the actual costs in modifying your car, one would be the actual product or the labor that it costs to get it done. Prices can vary back and forth. However, typically I would say it's a lot easier to make power on these newer vehicles as opposed to the older vehicles that were coming out. Now, older vehicles are pretty much pre-turbo ages, and not even pre-turbo ages, but just vehicles without turbos. It's a lot harder to make power because you would need essentially bolt-on parts. You can throw a tune on it, maybe cut out the catch or something like that, and you know, you probably pick up an extra 15 or 20 horsepower, if that. Extracting more power out of these newer vehicles just pretty much requires a laptop and a cord. Sometimes not even a laptop. I do it now from my iPhone. So with that being said, you can mitigate some of the costs there. However, the more power you make, the obviously more bolt-ons you would need as far as heat soak and just helping the turbo spool up. Essentially, what you're doing is you are increasing fuel, increasing boost, and playing around with the timing a little bit when you tune these cars. And increasing boost is the key factor because of, I mean, more air means more horsepower. In addition to having the cost of the actual modification or the part that modifies your vehicle, your car loses a lot of value. Now, OEM stock cars hold the value the best, obviously. When you tune and modify your car in any type of way, even wheels and tires, you may think it's an upgrade. It may be an upgrade performance-wise or just looks-wise. However, that does not translate into the resale of your car. Unfortunately, that is one of the things that a lot of people miss, that your car becomes a lot less valuable the more you do to it. So you're essentially putting parts or putting money into your car and not getting a return out of it. Now, the good thing about that is there are a lot of forums and whatnot to help you guys kind of relieve yourself some of that cost when you sell a car. Maybe you buy a part for $400 and you might let it go in the forums for $250 to $300. You kind of capture some of your money back, but it's nothing like putting the money into like a house, you would say, or something like that. It never will increase the value of the car when you modify it. The last cost to be associated with modifying your car are tickets. You have to account for getting tickets. It just happens. I don't know how. You just feel the power. You're in boost. You just don't want to let up, and cops get behind you. I've experienced that so many times, more than I would like to admit. And those fines are hefty. The points are hefty. It increases your insurance and things. So while you may think you are the best speed racer driver and that you can dodge all the police out here on the East Coast. I'm not sure about the West too much, but on the East Coast, it ain't happening, buddy. You might as well just put a little bit of money aside, because they're gonna get you some way, somehow. Now, the last thing to kind of sort of wrap this up is there are two different types of, I guess, ways you would go about calculating the mod or determining risk factors, if you would. There's paper and there's feel. Now, paper wise, it makes absolutely no sense to modify your car. When you're looking at it money wise, financially wise, budgeting, it makes absolutely no sense. All the points that I just named, your car becomes more unreliable, more, I guess, wear and tear, obviously more reliable. The parts, you get more tickets. It doesn't increase the value of your car. It's just pretty much a money pit, and you have this kind of feel that you just want to go deeper and deeper. Now, that's paper wise, and horsepower paper, yeah, it'll make a little bit more sense. However, the feel, that's what we're going to talk about right here, the feel, because everybody that modifies their car, they do it for the feel. No one modifies their car and says, oh yeah, man, well, you know, no one thinks about that. I hate to admit it. No one says, well, you know what, I'm getting a very good deal, or it's benefiting me some kind of way financially that I need to modify my car. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's kind of like that drink you would like at that certain place, the bar. It really doesn't make, it really won't do you any good physically wise. You're spending money. It's a very expensive drink. I would guess you say water's a lot cheaper, but it's the feel that you get. It's the good times that you have it, and that's what you get when you modify your car. The feel, the good times, the conversation. It is a beautiful thing. Now, with that being said, as you can obviously tell, I modify my car a lot, so we know how I feel about it. Does it make sense? No, on paper, but the feel is very, very much so rewarding. Now, do I recommend it to you guys? Yes and no. You just kind of have to weigh the options yourself. If you're anything like me, hell yeah, modify it. But if you're anything where super upside down in your loan, or just you could barely afford the car, don't modify it, obviously, because like I said, it will become a burden to you, because you can barely make the payments, so you're going to take out more money or do whatever you have to do to make the mods to make your car reliable. Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, modify your car if it makes any sense to you, which it doesn't, but it will, if that makes any sense to you. So enjoy, and modify it responsibly. Modify responsibly. Don't go too far ahead of yourself and end up in a hole, literally, financially, literally a hole, a ditch. You know, we've all done that before, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys for tuning in to this little talk session about should you modify your car. I hope you guys got some information out of this. I hope you guys, I don't know, seen this valuable. You know, you kind of think about putting different perspectives. A lot of people will tell you their opinion, and this is my opinion, but I feel like it is the most unbiased opinion there is, because I'm not really telling you to do either or. I'm just kind of giving you the, I don't know, pros and cons of them each, where there is really no pros besides it feels good when you modify your car. It's like the only pro. But hey, it's a lot better than some other things that you could be doing. All right, guys. Remember, mod responsibly, drive responsibly, and don't let them guys out there give you some tickets, because when boosts kick in, you're gonna feel it. All right, guys. Peace out.